Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into the truly incredible story of Dr. Chang Shufeng. She's a neurologist who completely, and I mean completely, redefines what's possible as we get older.
So, let me ask you something. You know how it is, right? You hit your 30s, maybe your 40s, and you start to feel those new aches and pains. And you start worrying, okay, I guess I've missed my window to get really fit. But what if that's just a story we're all telling ourselves? What if our peak is actually still ahead of us?
Well, her journey is pretty remarkable. At 52 years old, she starts running for the very first time, and it was really just to lose a little bit of weight. Fast forward to age 65, and she's a national ultramarathon champion. So how on earth did she bridge that incredible gap? Let's find out.
What really makes her story so powerful is that Dr. Chang was never, ever a natural athlete. In fact, if you knew her growing up, you would have picked her as the last person on Earth to ever win a race.
She was frail, she was sick a lot, and she even described herself as the kind of kid that was hard to keep alive. I mean, in school, her physical fitness was graded in the lowest possible category you could get. So what in the world changed?
Well, the spark wasn't some huge athletic ambition or anything like that. It was actually super relatable. Her weight had just crept up over the years, and as a doctor, she knew that diet alone wasn't going to cut it. She needed to exercise. So, to keep herself honest, she did something kind of brilliant. She signed herself and a few colleagues up for a 10K race. She gave herself a non-negotiable goal.
But just as she was really getting into it, building momentum and discovering this new passion for running, her journey took a devastating and, frankly, a really brutal turn.
And this wasn't just one thing, it was this cascade of just awful accidents. First, she gets struck by a motorcycle in a hit and run that actually left her with memory loss. But she was determined, so she kept running. And then she suffers two more major falls, one right at a finish line and another just falling down a flight of stairs. It's almost unbelievable. So all of these injuries culminated in this diagnosis, a severely pinched nerve in her neck. Now, as a neurologist, she knew exactly how serious this was. The pain became totally unbearable, none of the medication worked, and, the worst-case scenario, paralysis. That was a very real possibility.
She was just desperate. The pain got so bad, so all-consuming, that she was ready to go for a high-risk operation on her cervical spine. And this is an operation she knew, as a doctor, could potentially leave her paralyzed for life. But you know, being a neurologist also gave her this really unique perspective. Her husband, who's also a neurologist, had seen these exact surgeries go wrong. He had seen patients end up paralyzed. So he pleaded with her to reconsider. So she stood at this critical crossroads, right? On one side, you have this expensive, super high-risk surgery that could end in paralysis. And on the other, there's a path of trusting the body's own incredible ability to heal itself. She chose path number 2. So instead of going under the knife, she basically became a student of her own recovery. She focused on meticulous posture correction, she used these specialized pillows to decompress her neck while she was sleeping, and, this is critical, she drastically reduced her workload to give her body the time and the energy it needed to repair the damage. And slowly, amazingly, it actually worked.
Her recovery, it wasn't just about getting back to her normal life. No, it was about getting back to the racetrack. But this time, she came back with this deep understanding of her body. And honestly, she was stronger than she had ever been.
At age 65, that's more than a decade after she first started running, she didn't just compete, she won. She became the national champion in the 12-hour ultramarathon for her age group. It just proves that our past struggles, they do not have to define our future limits.
And this is her philosophy now. I love this. She challenges that old idea that we have to save our joints by not using them. She says, no, movement is essential. She thinks of our bodies like a rubber band. If you don't stretch it, it just decays. You just have to be smart and learn to listen to your limits.
So the big question is, how can we apply her incredible wisdom to our own lives? Well, thankfully, she's laid out a really clear and balanced blueprint for longevity that pretty much anyone can follow.
Okay, so here's her recommended weekly split. A really strong foundation of aerobic training 5 days a week. Running, cycling, swimming, that kind of stuff, to build up your heart and lung health. And then you supplement that with 2 days of strength training to build a resilient frame and a super strong core. But why this specific mix?
Well, that aerobic exercise is designed to do two key things that are directly linked to a longer lifespan. First, increase your VO2 max. That's basically your body's ability to use oxygen. And second, lower your resting heart rate. And that strength training? That's crucial for building a strong protective core, the very thing that supports and protects your spine from getting injured in the first place.
But for Dr. Chang, running isn't just physical. She pairs it with this unique mental practice that a spiritual teacher taught her. While she's running, she recites memorized texts, she reflects on what they mean, and she turns her long runs into this powerful form of active meditation. It strengthens the body and the mind, all at the same time.
When it's all said and done, she really distills her entire philosophy down to these three powerful takeaways. First, just start moving. Don't let your age or your current condition limit you. Second, eat more plants. It's good for you, it's good for the planet. And third, never stop nurturing your mind and your spirit, because that's a part of you that can keep growing stronger your entire life.
You know, we hear so much about these blue zones, right? These special places where people live exceptionally long lives. But Dr. Chang's story teaches us a really profound lesson. You don't have to move to find one. You can build the habits of longevity, good food, consistent movement, a strong sense of purpose, right where you are, right now. You can create your own.
When people ask her if she's reached her physical peak yet, Dr. Chang says she honestly has no idea. She's still testing her limits. And that's her core message for us. You never ever know how high your peak is until you find the courage to just start climbing. So her journey leaves us with a really powerful question. What peak are you ready to explore?